close to this. I don't know if I am yet. I might have to go a little more violet than I have it. It may still be too blue. But like I did before, I can take my palette knife and go right up here to the painting and see. I can hold it. See, it's just almost identical to the one in the back, isn't it? See? Right there. So I can take that, get my brush on that, and use that. And I can use the paint on the palette knife even, just wipe it on off. I know that's matching it. Clean that palette knife again. And be careful, they're called palette knives for a reason. So you want to make sure you use that towel or you can slice right through your finger, as I've done before. So you have to be careful with that. I want to get a clean paper again, another piece of towel. Whoops, whoops. Okay. All right, let's try this now. But see, I'm being able to change, that's a better word, just to change my brush, let it translate into the other color. I may still have too much of that blue on there. I need to mix my brush into this a little bit more. This way I don't have to get another brush. A little bit deep yet. Need to get some more of the white with it, just a little bit. Okay, just a tiny bit. I'm going to have to go into a little more of this white. So I am going to get my pristine up here. Go right into it, put that over here where I can pull off of it to replace what I've already used up. That's why. Okay, let's try this one now. What we have to remember also is there's already paint on this brush, and so it's affecting the color that we're mixing it into now. Yes, that's almost perfect. Look at that. Yes. So I want to get the edge of this right to start with, and I want it right down where it hits the other mountain slope. I want it to be distinct, that it changes right there. Might want to lighten it just a tiny bit on this other end, so that it will look lighter than what's in front of it. Okay, now I'm going to go right over it because I can come back later with the other color. All right. Pull that on through. You want it to pull through what you've got. Remember what I've said, the mountains don't stop because there's a tree in front of it. Neither does the sky. So you have to always carry those colors through. Whoops. I'm working on the mountains, not the sky. So it would help if I get down here where I belong. Okay, whoops, wrong mountain range again. Okay, helps to stay in the right one, doesn't it? So I'll wipe that off and come back up here where I belong. All right, I'm gonna get some more there so it stays clean. See, some of this tree color is still wet, so I have to be careful with that, or it will blend into it. Okay, I think that will do. Maybe do a little bit of a smudge just to have a nicer transition into it. All right, now I can come back with the color of the mountain range that's in front of it, and we'll get that too. So you just keep mixing more violet or blue with it. If you're going to the violet, you add more of the red or the carmine or one of those. You use a redder color to turn your blue to the violet. So it's a transition that we can go right with the same brush instead of having to dirty a different brush. Now, as I said, it's more violet, so I'm going to have to take this and get more of the violet colors with it, or reds. Now I've already used this magenta over here and this cobalt violet. So I'm going to use a little bit of it just to have it relate, but I'm also going to come down here, get some Elise from Crimson, and maybe just a little bit of that Carmine Deep right next to it. These all kind of line up and they have a transition going right down. Now this is probably going to be too much, go too red, so I'm going to have to tone it down, but it's going to make it very violet to start with. But you can see how you can get a very brilliant magenta with it if you want to. So I'm going to have to tone that down It's a little too red, but we'll see. All right, I want some more of that white with that too. Let's see how far off we are. Let's hold the palette knife up to it and just see. After I get it mixed a little bit better. Just a little bit too, it's not too far, it's just a little too violet yet. Add a little more of that blue back, like I said. So since I've been using the cobalt, I think I will use the French ultramarine this time. Just a little bit of that, pull it over. And make sure we don't go too far the other way. I might have to get just a little more than I got. Just a little bit more. Okay, try that. Sometimes it's sort of like going on a seesaw, mixing back and forth, but once you get it right, it's okay. The thing is trying to mix it again. This is hard to mix the same color. Now, I really don't care if it's exact. In fact, I'd rather it not be, because that gives a little bit of a color nuance that I like, a color change instead of the same color all the way across. Now, keep in mind also, as I've said before, that there's blue paint on this brush already. So when I put it into this violet color, it's going to alter that a little bit. So I have to have enough violet to overpower that too. So now let's see how we're doing. Ah, perfect, right on it. In fact, maybe just a little more violet, but that's all right with me. I don't have a problem with that. Just want to take this into that tree. There. I want to make sure I get it up here and get it right as it comes through these trees and comes down into where it'll go into this one. There. All right, now I want to get it to follow through here. So I want to get it where it goes back through, so I know I have that connection of the mountainside and the slope coming right through, that it would work that way. There's a little bit of a bobble there. I'm not sure I like that bobble. I don't mind it a little bit, but I just don't want it to look like it says, whoops, I see a tree there. I've got to move. There. So that goes right through. Let's finish it up down here. Clean it up. See, this is the background. So you want it to be right, but you don't want it to take away from all this action that's up front, because there's a whole lot going on. Now I want to have it kind of blend nicely into it, so I want to have it, let's see if we can get a little bit more of that over here, and perhaps bring some through on some of this, just a little bit here and there. And that's part of that negative painting again too. All right, let's take it on over into this part as well, because I have some kind of fuzzy stuff down in here. I'd like to bring that in, get it where it is mountain back there. And I also want to get this where it does look like it's behind there. As I said, dipping into the view. Okay, I think that's going to make it look like it follows through. Fine, it'll carry right on through, you see. All right, and I just want to make this where it's less nebulous back here. And then I can come back with the other colors for the trees over it later. Perhaps even clean up a little bit in there, but I like the way it's kind of loose and untamed, as I said earlier. That same violet right through here. I think that'll work fine, and just have it ease into it now. Maybe bring this back just a little until I know what I'm going to do with it. Okay? So now, the next thing I want to get back into is I want to get into the trees and into this landscape part down here. So what I'm going to do is probably go on and clean this brush off. Let's see, unless I can take it as a transition into another color, and I could do that. But I have all this violet down here on my palette, so I'm going to clean this off first. So I'm going to mix it up and just set it to the side. I can use the color later if I want to. And it'll be a good color, so I'll put it over there as another color to use later. And then I'll just wipe this down. And I can use the towel I already have to clean that off. Then I'll have a new clean mixing space. Clean off the palette knife. And just kind of mix it in just a little bit. Okay. There's still a little bit much on that board, so I want to get another towel here and put a little bit of linseed oil with it too, to get that to go back where it was, just to clean it off. And the reason is that I don't want that violet going into the other fresh colors. And I may have to even change that brush because that violet will go into the tomb, especially when I get into those oranges and yellows, because that's the complementary to it. And if you're using a complementary to mix, you're going to end up with very dull gray colors. That's one way to gray it down and neutralize it, is to use that complementary color. Okay, now that's probably good enough. All right, so wipe your bottle off before you put that lid on too, so it won't stick later. So always keep that in mind as another thing to do. If you want those lids to come off easily, wipe that lid first, the top of the bottleneck, okay? All right, the next thing I want to get into here is on the trees. I want to get those trunks right. So I want to get back into them, and I want to get back into the colors up above. So in order to take that, and now let me see if I can start mixing those colors too, and I might be able to go on right in and use a transition on this color on the brush as well. So we'll see what happens. I want to get some of this burnt sienna and put it out there, but I want to go oranger than that on some, but I want to also get a dark side to each tree trunk and a light side, because the light is coming from this direction. You see that big shadow cast across there? We want to keep that. Now you can't see it on the other side because there's a ridge there. So that's all right. We don't have to worry about the shadows behind it. But I do like these colors coming up into it, like they're feeding into it, so it's not a solid line there. And that gives more action. Plus, talking about the composition, you can come into this, especially right here. You could walk around right here and go right in behind that if you want, and take a look at what's going on the other side of that crest, can't you? So that's another thing to keep in mind. When you're painting, what's your destination point? Where are you going with it? Keep that in mind so the eye will go where you want it to. Now my eye in this one will go back here and see what's going over there, but I can always come back around and check these trees out anytime I want. Okay, now I've got the burnt sienna. Get another piece of towel. I want this burnt sienna first, and I want to get a little bit of, I think some red madder, because I want it redder, and I want to go oranger on this too, but I want some of these deeper colors on the back side. So I'm going to use this to go sharper there. Let me see. Let me get some orange first. This is a red-orange, cadmium red-orange. Now look at that brilliant color. See how brilliant? Nice. That's much more alive than just using a burnt umber or something. If I want to, I can even go brighter with it. I can put a little more orange or yellow into it, even a bright red, but look at that, how it picks it up. Get a little more of the yellow-orange as well as the red-orange. Get both of these, just a little bit of them. Okay, nice. Mix it good, so it won't be stringy. It may take a moment, but it's worth it. Now the thing is, I got to keep in mind, I have violet on this brush, but I'm going to mix it in with the other. Now that's an oranger brown. So the orange to the violet is complementary, so that's going to dull it some. So what I want to consider is where these trees are going to be, and I'm thinking about like running this through right through here. Now as I do this, I'm picking up that blue paint too, so I have to be careful about that. And I'm probably going to want a light side to this tree as well, so I do not want to go too thick with it. And it doesn't have to be solid all the way, because sometimes the light can hit it in funny ways too. I may even decide not to have these trees crossing. It's like X marks the spot. I don't know that I like that. Actually, I'm thinking about just bring that right across there that I had. This is one way to change something. Let that tree be like this one over here, where it branches at the top. So if I take that and bring that down like that, I could let that be. And then I could take this other tree and turn it in another direction. So I'm going to take this, and I might have to go back and get this other violet again. So I'm just going to stick my finger in that color I already used. Good thing I set it aside, isn't it? And just run it down here and change that edge. Well, now I'm messing up the top. Fun of oil painting. Okay, how many fingers do I have, right? Okay, I want to get that blue clean again. Bring this mountain in here again. Let that be, and then bring this one back down. And I'm running it through here so I can change this tree completely. In fact, I can even take the other one out if I want to. There, okay? Now, that's how you can change it. That's the wonderful thing about oil painting also, is that you can make these changes. Isn't that nice? Okay, I might want to bring that back mountain behind it. Now I'll probably put some greenery around it too. But first, let's get this on through. So we can just have a few of these trees coming through here. I want a dark side to this one that I already have here. Right here, just a hint of that. All right, just to show it just a little bit so we can have, whoops, I need a flatter edge on that. Now I'm going to bring some oranges into it too. And I'm going to throw just a few of these back into here, just to give it some extra color and some pop in the back. And like there are a lot of trees going back there. All right, so that'll be good. All right, lavender go through, and I'll fix that in a little bit. Okay, I think we've got our trees lined up. I might want another branch going this way real quick so I can bring it back to the eye here. Kind of connect these back that way a little bit. Okay, we got those trees up. Now, do I want more? I'm probably going to also, let me throw just a little more on this one on the right so we can kind of finish it up for the day, but I can at least get my row of trees in. I want to get a little extra paint there. This one on the end, I want it a little stronger than I have it, okay? Just quickly. All right, and pull that over there to edge that. Ah, much better. Maybe even take that one off on the branch there, and another one here. Okay. I think that'll be enough to at least get it started for today. Bring that out. Maybe some of this go this way just a little bit. Okay, how's that? We've got it into the mountains. And we've got the trees lined up in a nice row, all set. Now, I hope you'll come back with us with the next session. I could actually use this paint down here too for a few places if I want, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I want you to go and try some things yourself. Get your paints out, keep those brushes wet, keep your art in sight, and stay with us also. So come back and see this, and thank you for being with us. Have a great day.